No.
There we go.
All right. Welcome everyone back to what is this episode 6?
Episode
Episode
six.
6 of Let Your Words Count. Let Your Words Count podcast. So thank you all for joining us. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTube algorithm stuff and or any other socials you're consuming this on. Today's word is actually suggested by the audience. It was a request that came in that we take on the word intention. The word intention. Okay? And as our usual format, we'll start with the definition of the word, then we'll get into some of the etymology, the application, ways maybe that the word is misunderstood or understood correctly, and go on from there. Got a few definitions I wanted to read from. I feel like this is one of those words where there's so many different ways you can apply it, or so many different ways that it's used, that one definition doesn't really seem to fully capture maybe what you're trying to get at. So I think a few definitions here kind of, in my mind at least, kind of rounded out the proper definition. So the first one, and I think I started searching too for this reason. I was always taught in school you don't define one word, or you don't use a word in its own definition. So the first one that I found was what one intends to do or bring about. What one intends to do or bring about. And then the other two that we found were the plan or purpose that guides an action, or the reason behind what we do and how we make decisions. What one intends to do or bring about, the plan or purpose that guides an action, or the reason behind what we do and how we make decisions. Okay? So with that, Ethan, was there anything, I know I didn't even do our introduction, but by now you know who we are. Again, Ethan Merriweather. So Ethan, if you had anything you want to touch on the etymology of the word or any...
Yeah, definitely. So the etymology of the word, history and origins. The word intention comes from the Latin intentionium, I believe. And someone correct me if I said it wrong. Meaning a stretching toward, or purpose, as it was stated in the definition, is derived from intendere, meaning to stretch, aim, or direct. Okay. So as far as the etymology is concerned, I think it's very important for us to understand the history, because once again, like when you think about the English language, it's kind of difficult. And a lot of times when it's we don't necessarily know the origin and why we use these certain words, but for us to bring forth the history and origin, it kind of give us a good landscape on where we should go with the word. So what were your thoughts on that?
It's a few. And again, this is one of those words where there's a lot of other things that kind of come to mind related to this word, other synonyms for it, just other things that kind of describe a similar thing. And the first word that popped into my mind probably shouldn't be, because the word intention, I don't think really carries a connotation of being good or evil. It's just, like you said, it's the purpose, it's the intent, it's the aim or the direction behind certain words or actions. So that by itself isn't positive or negative. But the first word that came to mind, I think, was like ulterior motive, because it's possible that someone can state an intent or have words or actions that may seem like there's one desired outcome when there's actually a different desired outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So I think two things I'm kind of looking at as far as how to get to the root of an intention and what it really means, or maybe two of the main things to kind of consider for it. I'm still kind of playing this out in my mind. But whether or not, because again, as we're kind of studying through some of these things too, there's a lot of connections back to philosophy and back to morals or virtue or ethics, right? So that comes into play because you have to consider, are the intentions revealed or hidden, and if the intentions are selfish or selfless, right? I think those are the things to consider for whether an intention is going to be considered good or evil. You kind of almost have a four square with that, right? If it's revealed and selfless, you say it's good intention. If it's hidden and selfish, usually the outcome is going to be negative for people on the other side or on the receiving side of that intention, right? So, I think that, we err on the side of better outcomes if we're open and honest about whatever our intentions are.
Yes.
And trying to be selfless with it, right? Now, again, and we talk about this all the time, you and I do, that there's times you have to do self-care. There's times you have to eat, you got to wake up, you got to wash your body, you got to, do all these things that by nature are selfish or self-care. But, there's also the opportunity to do things that are a benefit to other people. And it's okay to do self-care and do things that are for yourself, provided we are not hurting others in the process.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Because when you talk about ulterior motives, man, that made me think about many, many other things. So the first thing that comes to my mind is a father and a daughter, right? And that daughter has a relationship with someone, and so when the daughter comes and bring this young man to the door to meet and greet the dad, the father should have a specific term.
What are your intentions with my daughter? Absolutely.
Exactly. What are your intentions?
Absolutely.
Right? And so, to me, when you ask certain a question that's where you get to the stretch, and it's direct. Like when you get directly to the point, then you can uncover if the person outside of you asking that question, you can vet and see if there is an ulterior motive.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the thing is when a father, which is very important for the father to do, is to ask, what are your intentions with my daughter? That should cause a response from the person that's receiving that question.
For sure.
To uncover, so to speak, basically you would know by the response if the person is truly, if their intentions are pure or if they have other intentions in mind.
I'd like to dig into that one a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
Go ahead, man. Because it was just something that I just thought.
No. That's good though. That's the right way to think about it, because I think that fathers ask that question, and I think that's the question that is it's like a lie detector test kind of thing, right? Yeah. You're kind of looking for how is this person going to respond, because most of us as fathers were once young men ourselves. And again, it comes back to when a father asks, what are your intentions? He's asking, will you reveal? Goes back to what we talked about before. Are you going to disclose or not what your intentions really are? And you're asking for that question and then watching other interactions to figure out, is this person selfish or selfless? So the asking of the question is giving you an opportunity to state, and do I detect dishonesty, or do I feel like you're lying in what you tell me? And then I'm watching your words and answering that question, and your words following and actions following that, to see, now, do you seem to be the kind of person that's more interested in serving yourself and doing things that are just trying to, are you being selfish or selfless? Because if you get a man that is dishonest and that seems to be more selfish, he's going to be looking for something that's just going to appease his fancies and be on his way. You know what I mean? So you find somebody that has selfish or selfless intent, it's a better chance that that young man is not going to harm your daughter or do any emotional damage or anything else, right? You're looking for somebody that has that consideration for other people.
Spot on. And I was thinking about, and you said let's dig into that a little bit, and that's important for us to realize. How do we get sensitive enough where we do recognize that the intentions or the purposes are clear, immediately. You know, and like you said earlier, like when you ask those questions, you can see the lie.
For sure.
You can look in the eyes. You can look at the body language.
Right.
You can look at many things that can give a sense that this person is not being real.
Absolutely.
They're selfish right now.
Absolutely.
So how do we get ourselves sensitive? The whole idea of, you know, letting your words count is for us to get better.
Right.
The whole idea for this show is for us to improve as human beings.
For sure. For sure.
So if the audience is can understand that when we get together and we talk about this word intention, which it was a request to talk about, how can we help one another with this word that as soon as this program goes off, that they have an assignment. They have an assignment with this intention that they're not, it's not only the intention, but they're intentional with it. You know what I mean? They're purposeful. It's actually, they can put it in action immediately.
I love that.
You know, and so when that young man is asked that question about what are your intentions, he already has a SMART goal. He already has a stretch goal for that girl that he's dating. Not only that, but the girl has intentions, good intentions for the young man. The girl has good intentions for the young man before she even brings him to the father. You understand what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Like, and this is the whole key, is I'm not sure if society is in some regards developing society is developing us up enough to explore the word intention enough that we actually are able to achieve what that meaning is in our life. Hopefully I'm saying that right, man.
I think I follow what you're saying.
Yeah, let me rest on that. Go ahead, bro.
So it's a couple things. I mean, one of the things you said, like about, you know, if there can be like an assignment coming out of this, is I think kind of gets to the assignment that comes to my mind. Kind of gets to what I think you're pointing to is, if there were to be a homework assignment for this, so to speak, right? That homework assignment would be for you to study, review, ponder, consider your words and your actions, and review what are your intentions behind the things that you're saying.
Yes.
How often are you being obvious, honest, forthcoming about your intentions in the dealing with other people? And when you find that maybe you're not, reflect on that, right? Why do you feel you can't be honest in that moment? Is it because you want something out of a person or out of a situation and you don't want anybody else to know that you want something for yourself, that maybe, again, you're being selfish or self-serving in doing something in a way that a person might receive that as, oh, you're a selfish person, or you're trying to take from me to build yourself up? Why, if you find you can't be honest and forthcoming about your intentions, why do you feel that is? And again, because a lot of times if you're not, in my mind, if it's where I feel I can't state my intentions, and again, I try not to be in this position, but if somebody feels like they maybe can't state their intentions, it's usually, in my mind, because you might intend to do harm or to use somebody in some way, right? You intend to get something out of them and build yourself up. Otherwise, why not just be honest and tell them? And again, sometimes, because I mean, everybody, and this is where I think it's one of those honesty layers, so to speak, right? Where everybody kind of carries some things closely guarded, close to the chest, and maybe don't say everything they're thinking or everything they want. But let's try to be as honest as we can about that, and understanding that, yeah, we all are going to want some things for ourselves, but be honest about it, because once you get a person that's in a position of power that will mask their intent and is doing something self-serving under the guise of serving others, then that person that's in power can start doing damage.
Yes.
They can do harm, right? So I think it's a good practice for us as people to both be reflecting whether or not I'm being honest about my intentions, and then be looking for that in others too. Be looking for, and this is one of the keys, right? Do the actions that I see match the stated intent? And beyond that, now do the actions that I see, but then sometimes people are playing chess. If you're playing checkers, you're thinking like just in this one move or in this one thing that was done, that person might be thinking 5-10 steps ahead. So be thinking about, okay, this person said this or that was their action or, their word, their stated intent. But then look down, okay, what else? What comes after this? This domino effect, and this situation plays out and plays out and plays out, 5-10 moves down the line. What else can result from these words or actions that have been said? And then try to see, is this person maybe having ulterior motives or something that they may see a path to serving themselves down the road that they're not disclosing. Not to be a paranoid, person about it kind of thing. Because again, there's going to be that concern, that possibility as well, right?
Yeah. No, that's pretty good, man. I would see. I have to pause for a second, and the reason why I have to pause is I want to make sure, like within myself, that the intentions, fear is not involved.
Absolutely, bro. Wow, that's good.
And because sometimes intentions change based off of experiences, based off of I would say unexpected, unmet expectations, possibly. And sometimes intentions can change because you've probably developed. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, my intentions have changed in the years.
Sure.
Based off of experiences.
Right.
And with those experiences, I realized that if that goes in the long, if this how can I say it? Is that the right thing to say, that your intentions can change? You know what I mean? Because even if you did have a goal in mind, there are certain processes that take place in, like you said, unforeseen circumstances that will cause those things to change in some type of way. So would that look on the outside like ulterior motives? You know what I'm saying? Or not? And how does a person protect their integrity in some type of way when your intentions may not look like that they were pure? I know I said a lot right there.
You good?
Right.
You good?
But I was thinking about fear within that intentions, like where, because you could say you can make those steps 10 steps ahead, like playing chess or whatnot, and maybe, like you said, you didn't necessarily want to go down the path of being paranoid or anything, anything like that. But that's realistic.
For sure.
That's absolutely realistic with your thoughts concerning paranoia of what your intentions, because sometimes they were overlooked.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Sometimes certain things, we've all had relationships, we've had jobs, we had different things like that, because you were already making steps ahead, but where you, on the outside of you, the circumstances was not prepared, or you were not prepared for 5 steps ahead. You thought you were 5 steps, and your intentions were actually good in some type of way, but the reality caught up with you, and your intentions were actually unmet. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So I've fallen victim from experiences or whatnot, that I believe that my intentions were good, but they were failed. Hey, I started a clothing company years ago. My intentions were good, but I realized that, and I've had many endeavors, so to speak, that weren't fulfilled. Probably because I think I was young, ambitious, or whatnot, but I didn't put the right steps in place. My intentions were good, but the execution of it was
Very
not was uneducated and unrealistic. And I think that that's the reason why I want to talk about the SMART targets for a second. So one thing that I've learned in the automotive field is that when you establish SMART targets, it actually helps you strategically put a measurement in place. So SMART, if you don't know what SMART targets is, we're going to break it down. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Okay, that's something that was really coined by Toyota in their in the Toyota way methodology for better improvement in processes, manufacturing processes, and quality. And so when I learned about specific, and listen, I need to use it more. Just be honest with you.
Good practice. It's good practice.
But the intention of that, I think with intentions, I think it'll be good for us to establish a realistic or a SMART target, being specific, being measurable. Because if you can't measure, how do you improve?
Right.
Measurements is all about improvement.
Absolutely.
And building.
Absolutely.
If you take a ruler and you say you want to build a building or a car or whatever the case may be, you're going to have specifications.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you want to be specific. With those specifications, you're being specific as to what you want to build and what is it that you desire to create. Specific, measurable. Is it achievable? Be realistic with what you are able to achieve. Is it realistic? Is it time bound? The time bound is putting those things in place, right? Being realistic with the time. And I think when you look at relationships and whatnot, and your intentions in that relationship, like you and I don't think we've ever argued. Right. You know what I'm saying? And if we did argue, it was about probably it was not we were
not an argument like passionate discussion.
Yeah, there you go, passionate discussion.
But not argue. No, we don't need to.
But not argument because and the thing is, it's like I know your intentions.
Right.
When we argue, I know, or our passion discussions,
right.
I know that you're trying to get something across.
Right.
It's not to harm.
Right.
If your intentions, like you said, if it's an ulterior motive that later on down the line, if it's to harm, we have an issue here. It's self-serving.
I like that.
You know what I mean? So I think I said enough.
No, you good. I mean, because what you just pointed to, I just made a note about too, because the track record matters.
Yeah.
The track record matters, right? Because, and again, some people, and this is where it sucks, right? This is where just being a human on this planet, you know what I mean, can feel and can be unfortunate sometimes, because a track record should matter. If I'm looking at, okay, this person, again, maybe comes into a position of power and says they want to do all these things for me, the track record should matter. Has this person been doing actions in the past that synchronize and support what they're saying they want to do now?
Wow.
But you get some sociopaths who are so patient in their selfish desires sometimes that they might endure a time.
Wow.
Looking like they're sacrificing for these maybe small things that don't so much matter to them. They might sacrifice in these things and even start to build up a track record because they're looking, again, further down the road of this other thing that they want. But they know they can't get close enough to that without taking these incremental sacrificial steps to get there, right? So somebody might be patient and cunning and willing enough, determined enough in their intention to maybe go a period of time looking like they're making sacrifices or caring for the well-being of others, only to spring this trap at the last minute that says that they're not. So in my mind, what the great equalizer is, and this, this is one of the things that I think, comes back to, I look at this as a solution for politics. I look at this as a solution for a lot of religious and spiritual things too. the great equalizer, right, is put the person with their intent in the same bucket as those who their intent is going to affect. What do I mean by that?
That's good.
Our politicians have a golden fleece healthcare system that only applies to them. It has a lot more benefits, a lot fewer questions being asked. It's just a different system. I haven't even looked recently at how different or what the different aspects are, but one time I looked up a lot of these different things about the way our politicians' healthcare system is set up. But here they go making rules and laws for ours, for the civilians in the U.S., and none of those decisions that they make affect them. If you want healthcare fixed in this country, have them get on the same healthcare plan that we are on. I guarantee you that what they keep stalling out for years and years and saying, oh, this can't be fixed and this can't be resolved, if you put them on the same plan that we all have to be on, where they are affected by their decisions in the same way that we are, I guarantee you it'll be fixed. So the great equalizer, somebody maybe doesn't have good intentions, figure out a way to couple the outcome and how it affects you to how it affects the person that has the intent. And I guarantee you all that, the concern about is this person being open and honest about their intent, and is their intent selfish or selfless, all that stuff can go by the wayside because some people don't know how to not serve themselves, don't know how to be selfless, don't know how to put their desires in the back burner with the mindset of I need to focus on the benefit of the many and not the benefit of the few. So you couple those things together, put them in the same bucket where now, whatever the outcome of your intentions are towards me, you're going to feel the same thing. That sometimes for some people is the only way you kind of get past the hurt and get to the true intentions and getting people to do good in every way that they can, right? Having minimal negative impact on other people.
Man, you made me think about you got to walk in somebody else's shoes to understand. Not all the time. That's
often as you can.
That's too general. Just often as you can.
Yeah.
Right.
That's consider it. That's the word we did the other week, right?
Yep. Consider it. And when you talk about, like you said, the intentions of changing laws, changing different things like that, that it affects other people outside of you.
Absolutely.
Are you actually seeing the impact of those laws or whatnot? Most of the time they won't.
That's right.
And it goes back to, I had a good friend, man. He was a manager of mine. And I need to give him a call, see how he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we were down in the plant down in Hartwood, Georgia.
Okay.
I won't say the company name or anything like that, but he ended up becoming one of the improving managers down there. And one of the things he did, he said he wanted all the management that were in the office to work on the line for 2 weeks.
Love it. I love it.
He said, in order for you to understand what we are up against and what's needed for improvement, you need to see what they see, smell what they smell, and feel what they feel.
1000%, bro. Solves so many problems.
And what it is what happens is the intentions will unfold, and then you would see the desired effect from the people that's accountable to make the change. You know what I mean? And responsible to make the change.
Absolutely right.
And so when the management went on the line, they were sweating. They were They were hot. They were sweating.
Yep.
They were feeling the pain.
Yep.
So the intentions changed. That's the reason why I was saying that after a while, that experiences will come where intentions start to change, and then you start to see movement happen.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then you start to see air conditioning come in the plants. You know what I mean? Then you start to see more water being available to the workers and stuff like that. And I think it's very important for us to talk about this, because with that word intention, I think that there's going to be more unfolding of other words
Absolutely.
that can help solidify our
Absolutely.
intentions and purposes.
Absolutely.
And it really, not only that, it causes us to be human.
I love it. I love it.
We're creatures of the Almighty. And the thing is like, in my mind, people can agree or disagree. I think that God made us living souls in a human body that feels. And if we're not capable of having enough compassion with our intentions toward our neighbor, we're failing as being products of a creator that made all things good in his time. You see what I'm saying? If you say you understand these things, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's take a step back and really solidify. And some of the key points, I'm gonna let you leave with the key points and thoughts in the final thought. So I'm gonna just leave with this. I think this word is so powerful that we ask the question, okay, you have to be honest. And you said this earlier about why do you feel that you need to hide your intention? Or why do you feel you need to not unfold what's in your heart? And why is the environment not conducive enough that you feel you need to hide? And like you said, like, and another thing is that person has to self-reflect with his intentions or her intentions, that if they are getting everything at the end of that intention and no one else is benefited by it, we have a problem, man.
Absolutely.
We have a problem.
Absolutely.
What are your intentions, man?
That's right.
I think I'm done.
That's good.
That was
that's
awesome,
good.
man. Good thought, y'all.
And I think just towards the end, that
good.
takeaway, right? Just making a person be exposed to the results of their intended actions and words is the best way to level the playing field and make sure that there's equity and fairness and that people are treated right. You know, to your point earlier, just if we're going to maximize our potential, doing the best we can here, leaving things, this is just one of those childhood things that stayed in my mind. You leave as often as you can, leave things better than where you found it. If it's something you have to touch, to do, whatever, leave it better than you found it. And if you're doing that as a regular practice, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. But be accountable and be, expose yourself to the results of your words and actions first. And I guarantee for those that can't find it in themselves to be compassionate or to think on others, that, if they feel it themselves, it'll make them rethink things. So just with that, again, be reflective, if there's a homework assignment, when you go out about your day, your words, your actions, be thinking about your intentions behind the things you do and say, how they're affecting other people, how you would feel if those things were happening or being done to you, and let that shape your decisions. So any other closing thoughts before we let it go?
I think you did
All
good,
right.
Man. Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
Very
we
good
enjoyed being here with you guys again today. And again, with that, we'll close it out. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This today's word was submitted by the audience. So if you guys have a word you want us to look at or to work on or work through, leave it in the comments, and hopefully we'll be able to. We're doing I think a pretty good job of seeing and catching those comments now. So, give those words to us, and we'll dive into them more. All right. Thank you all for joining us today.
Signing out.
All right,
Peace. God bless you.
Bye.